we have one. And my question is, with this letter going out, are we making a suggestion they go into residential suburban?
We are not sending a letter, so if someone's R1, I'm not gonna send them a letter to go residential suburban. If they're residential suburban today and the future land use map shows them as going to R1, then they received a letter. They can stay residential suburban or they can change to R1.
But if we're trying to get a mix of land use, we only have one neighborhood with residential suburban, why are we encouraging that?
Because we don't have any more added on our future land use map.
Yeah, this was a step in the direction of the vision for
You
Hayden,
mean
so it's not going backwards.
Somebody can't rezone a property into residential suburban?
What I'm saying is when you look at an application for rezone, one of the considerations is what's your zone today, what are the uses around it, and what's the comp plan say? So that's all I'm saying is what when the letter and the process we looked to was what have we called for in our future land use map.
So we're not meeting our comp plan, we're trying to increase residential suburban.
I disagree.
No, our future land use map we adopted is that. That's all I'm saying. So that's the opposite.
This is the future land use map in the comprehensive plan.
No, my point is, we're not encouraging residential suburban
And we
following our
didn't,
comp
we
plan.
really didn't in the comp plan.
But
We
since
had one area identified, and that's
the Chateau area.
Chateau.
But how are we gonna get a mix and have that?
I don't believe that was a goal in the comp plan, to have more residential suburban,
It
if
said
you can find the
a
goal.
mix of zones.
We have a variety of.
So again, that's
housing
not a
types.
high density, that's my point. Seems like we're just moving to high density.
Well, a good chunk of the city is still at the 8250 minimum lot size. That's still the minimum lot size for all the in yellow. 8,250 square feet is the floor, you know, they can't go below that.
Yeah, well, most of the city is, look at all the yellow in the future land use plan, that's all still yellow, and you can see the purple, those enumerated just along the corridors. So people have easy access to the transportation corridors in the higher densities.
And then this also includes unincorporated, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's right, we gave
Right,
some,
the
that's right.
future
Okay,
land
we
use
gave
map
some
includes
designation
all
for-
of the ACI
That's what I thought,
and the
okay.
shared tier.
Okay, so
Yeah.
some of that isn't even in the city right now.
Right.
But we just tried to
Right,
designate
and we left
something.
some ag, out here, like, yeah, we don't need to even think about developing it right now.
Yeah, one of the big goals of the change in the mixed use, when we went through this process and we were talking about it, you'll recall, is that putting those higher densities along the corridors that could handle it. And so that's the big reason for the purple, and then phasing in from purple is the orange,
Right.
like along.
Yeah, the like tan-ish orange color is the mixed residential.
And Hutter, I know, is difficult because we've all heard Hutter bypass may or may not happen, but we've started to plan for it. I mean,
Yeah.
we've been told by jurisdiction, the KMPO and ITD, that we gotta start planning for it, so we did.
we are.
Put it on the future land.
We've talked about it for 30 years.
I know, it may never happen, it's kind of an elusive thing.
2008, I was here when they were having the hearings down in the ITD basement. And I thought at the time, I didn't think it was gonna happen, but they're getting money. They've gotten money for it to, get some right of way and stuff. And with all the federal dollars that are coming, I think they're probably looking.
So we're doing our part to at least show people.
I mean, and the point being that if someone is R1, there's no, maximum lot size, right? So
Yeah,
if
they
somebody
can build
came
more.
in, I mean, we've got one up on the hill above Stone Creek, that the lot sizes are very large. They're R1. So there's not, I guess there's not like the requirement. I mean, some cities do that, and we talked about that during our zone workshops. Do we want, that if you're in this zone, you have to be, a maximum of this? I know the City of Liberty Lake has maximums on theirs, and planning and zoning, and you guys said, no, that doesn't fit Hayden. So people often do build 10, 11,000 square foot pretty regularly. There's not too much that comes in at the minimum. I know Brad only wanted me to take a half hour, so.
Maybe hit whatever highlights, I wanted Caitlin just to talk, just process, we haven't, where are we going with, how does this work? And,
Yeah.
I guess I just wanted to point out that because we're so predominantly single family, and we have really low vacancy, that's making it very hard for people to afford housing in this community. You know, we don't have very many apartments, and I saw a comment on Facebook that was, you know, Hayden's building apartments left and right. I was like, really? We've permitted in the last 5 years, like, a couple hundred dwelling units that are apartments. I mean, that's really not much. And we found, when I was trying to hire a senior planner, that I had 2 back out because they could not find housing, because they could not find an apartment to rent. So it is a problem. We're trying to design a city that fits the needs of lots of people, not just one demographic. Yeah.
One of the things that doesn't get talked about a lot, but we have over the years planned light industrial and commercial and stuff out around the airport to provide jobs and stuff like that.
Right.
The people that want these jobs, where are they gonna live?
I know.
They cannot buy these $500,000 homes that everybody wants to buy around here today. There has to be something, multifamily or whatever it is, to
Right.
help these people be able to live. My grandchildren and my kids can't buy a house here anymore.
I hear that all the time.
Yes, you
I'm
do.
sure Brett does too.
So-
We get called all the time about this, and we're like, well, we're gonna have this new zone, mixed residential. Hopefully people start building some townhomes that hopefully will give people an entry into ownership, right? Because they can't right now go from spending $1,800 a month on rent and save anything to get into a house that costs $500,000.
Can't do
I mean,
it.
it just doesn't even compute. So we have,
You know, it's interesting, probably a third of the emails that I've received in regards to this density issue have also mentioned, what can we do about the cost of houses?
I know, it's
And,
like this,
you know, I don't know, I mean, I wish I could, cause it's just like Dick said, if you work in Idaho, I don't know that you can afford a house in Idaho, you know, because the wages aren't predominantly high.
Anybody that gripes about this stuff should sit through Board of Equalization hearings and listen to the elderly people, and I'm talking 50 to 80 years old, crying their eyes out because they worked for 40 years, they finally retired on a minimum income, which is what you get in North Idaho if you've worked here your whole life. And they bought their little piece of the rock, and now they can't live in it anymore because they're assessed right out of their property, and it happens every day. And
Right.
I did it for 10 years, I know what the hell I'm talking about. So,
I'd like to share that,